Okay, here we are today for a somewhat impromptu, but yet scheduled, 10-15 minutes ago, reveal for a special RPM roll. We have had this on the books for a couple of weeks now, but finally getting to it after my more or less emergency trip to Florida took place. And I am now waiting for anyone to show up the stream who wants to watch. We have a deal that I bought a while back of a number of rolls of Memorial Scent RPMs. And these rolls of Memorial Scent RPMs have proven to be very, very successful, very nice roll. I'm going to try identifying any of these as I go through here. That's going to be a post-production thing. It's a nice BU RPM for a sissy. Oh, Eric. Right, now I move on to coin number 2. Coin number 2 is going to go to Mr. Worley. And Mr. Worley is going to get... well, it's a 1961 DRPM. Pretty nice one. It has a nice split to the lower serif. Decent little split to the upper serif as well. And so that's what we have for Mr. Worley. The next auction is going to be Sunday. I'm going to run a short auction on Sunday, then we'll have a regular auction on Tuesday. What we're going to do on Tuesday, it's going to be a little in that I'm going to have piles of coins, and kind of like how I do the mystery boxes, I'm going to pull out coins or pull out rolls and add them as we go along. It's a nice 1960 DRPM. I'm going to add them as we go along. I don't know what number this one is either. Unfamiliar with this particular one. Right, let's get zoomed in just a little bit better. There we go. And I will be adding items to the lots, and it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun auction. We'll have a great time with it. Hello, Malcolm. That one was for Thomas Murphy. Now, coin number 4, Frank. Sunday is going to be a singles auction only. We're going to have single coins up for auction on Sunday, and then Tuesday we will bring back the mystery boxes. Mystery boxes are going to be boxes of rolls, singles, and all kinds of other stuff. Is this, I believe, could be RPM number 110? I think this is RPM 110. Not sure, but I believe it could be. Very nice one. Hello, Andy. And this is for Frank. I will have a few mystery boxes of rolls coming up on Tuesday. We will also have another full set of reveals for sale Tuesday. I'm actually thinking about, and that's one thing I wanted to bring up during the shows today, is whether or not we want to move reveal sales. That's just a piece of something sitting on the coin. What we're looking at here with the split serif, split upper and lower serifs on the 61D, along with the beautiful toning. Look at the color on this. Oh my gosh. This thing's got some spectacular color going on. This one's for Jeff Dunn. Hello, El Alvarado coins. We've got one for Tim Morrell now. Tim Morrell pulls a 61D. That one's got some nice doubling on. Let me get the... get the lighting in a little bit more edgewise so it's easier to see. There we go. There, bring the zoom in just a little bit more. Since we're really looking at RPMs, these coins have already been separated as being RPMs by a collector who sold his collection, and I ended up with the rolls out of the collection. And a number of rolls he had put together were all RPMs. Decided that he didn't want to go through the trouble of separating and identifying all of them, so he just collected them in a bag. And then they were thrown into tubes, 50-coin tubes, and I bought them that way. It's a nice 63D RPM with a little struck through in the date. This one's for Carl. Nice RPM on that 63D. Nothing on the I, nothing on Liberty. Going to do 2 reveals back to back here. And then I'm going to take a dinner break and come back and do a couple of more reveals. That way we'll be halfway through what we need to get through for the week. The other half I'll do on Sunday afternoon and evening. There's a split on the lower serif there in 1959D. Nice clean looking coin. Pretty pretty. Kind of a golden color on this one. Sort of a slightly deeper red. And here's one for Eric. Eric will get this one, and it is a 1960D RPM. This one looks like it could be number 72, 72, 75, something like that. I believe this one's numbered in the 70s. All right, El Alvarado coins. I appreciate seeing you around. Thank you for your support. Now, coin number 10, Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams will get coin number 10. Coin number 10 is, it's a relatively minor but nice 1960D small date RPM. Got a little spot on the top of the one out in front of the bow tie. So it's got a few little spots here and there. But it is still a nice coin. Nice RPM. And that's for Mr. Adams. Now number 11. Coin 11 goes to Jess Minter. And Jesse Minter picks up. This one is RPM number 212, I think. 211 or 212. That little hump on the top of the 0, that's one of the major markers for this particular RPM. I think it's number 212. So it's one of the newer discoveries. Another nice RPM. And coin number 12. All of the coins in this roll are supposed to be RPMs. That's the way they were sold to me, as rolls of RPMs. That's a nice 61D there. It's got nice fat upper and lower serifs. You wish your brain retained? Your brain does. It's a matter of recall that you don't have. You have to train your brain to be able to put things in the order that you can remember them. So your brain will hold the information. Just your head's not pulling it back out straight. It's a nice 1960D RPM. It's got a doubled upper vertical bar. You can see that doubling right here on the inside of the mint mark, right there. It's got a doubled upper serif. And it has a nicely doubled lower serif. Let me bring it around this way so you can see the lower serif in my lighting. There it is. Nice lower serif. So you can't see everything all at once, so you have to kind of move it so it's easier to see. This is one of the problems and tricks of getting good photography of these coins, is being able to move them into position so that you can see as much as possible. I have more years in this than you do. Yeah, it's possible. It's very possible. I've been doing this for about, RPMs. I've been into RPMs and double dies for 38 years. Been collecting pennies for 46 years. 47 years. Yeah, that's me, all right. Yeah, pretty much all of these are going to be RPM. Some of them may be too minor to list or too minor to be listed. This could be one of them here. Rather minor, but in this case you do get a nice toner. Nice toned coin. Let's bring up the dyno and take a look at the toning on this one. How about that? If it'll show it. Nope, it's not showing it well. You can see that there's different colors there, but they're just not easy to see the different colors. Yeah. I wish it was easier, but this one's for Eric. It does have some pretty nice color on the obverse. That's coin number 15. We'll get back to the microscope view. Here's number 16. And number 16 now we'll go to Sissy. Good luck, Sissy. See what we find for you. Oh, it's another nice 1960 DRPM. Very nice split upper and lower serif RPM. Very nice. You started in 2018. Well, you got a little experience under your belt. I probably had 5 years experience before I really even knew what I was looking for, because back in the day when I started, we didn't have the internet. You had to know what you were looking for or get a book and extrapolate information from a book to make sense of it. There's a really nice 1960 DRPM for Thomas. Who? I know this one. I don't remember which one it is, but I know that marker. Oh, Brian. How about number 18? This one's for Jesse. Mr. Minter. What does Mr. Minter get? Looks like a number 66 or a number 50. No, it's a 66, I think. Nice little southeast RPM. All right. Pull the next one out. Steven on this one. We should be able to start the next reveal just a little bit early. Here's a nice 1960D small date RPM with split serifs, upper and lower. Not sure what die number this one is, but it is a nice one. That one's for Steven. Now number 20, Techstar. See what Techstar ends up with here. Techstar. This is possibly 132. Possibly. It's a minor. You can see the split lower serif there. It's very, very minor. And then there is a... This may or may not be. It's a lower... It's a very minor split lower and upper serifs. Bunch of scrape marks on the hub that transferred over to the die. Does hubby know better now? Hey, look at this. This is a 1988D RPM. This one's for Mr. Adams. Coin's not in the most perfect condition, but 88D RPMs are scarce. So this one's got a Larry on it, but it is a nice RPM for 1988. Beautiful split lower serif there. Yes, Rhonda, I can do that, but this isn't exactly the right time to do it. In 1914D, basically what you're looking for is to make sure that the rim on the reverse is the right thickness, that the rim on the obverse is of the right thickness, that you do not have VDB on the shoulder, because the VDB on the shoulder was not added to Lincoln Sense until 1918. And you want to be the large date, lower serif. And you also want to try to be sure that your D is the right shape. It should have a triangular hole in the middle. So the hole in the center should be a triangle and not necessarily a rounded curve like these D's are. These D's. Let me pull a D mint mark. See if I can pull one in pretty decent shape that'll be easy enough for us to look at. That one's not visible. Let me see here. I've got a roll of 1916D sitting here. Should make it relatively simple if I can find a mint mark that actually shows the hole in the middle. Well, that one kind of does, but not very well. These coins aren't in very good shape. So I have to dig for just a little bit to find one that is in good enough shape to show us what we're looking for. There we go. That one's good enough. So this is the D mint mark that you're looking for 1914D. Notice how you have a straight edge over here and then you have a triangular shape here. That's what the inside of the D of the 14D should look like. So they should always look like that. D's. What about D's? D's. The 16 D's. Oh yeah, that's what it is. They're D's. But that's the shape of the D mint mark used in 1914. They used it from 1911 until sometime in the 20s. Anyhow, let's go on to coin number 23. 23 goes to Sissy. And Sissy gets... Well, that's a nice one. Here, let me dim this down a little bit. I had it too bright so that the dark brown coin would show up well. And get a little focus on the subject. Hello, Mr. Crescent. There it is. Nice tilted RPM. Actually, this one's going to be, yeah, tilted. Tilted for sure. Yeah, nothing else going on there, but it is a nice RPM. That one's for Sissy. One of the biggest things that people do to fake a 1914D is they'll take a 1944D and they will shave parts of the first 4 off to turn it into a 1. A few problems exist in that. First, you're going to have the VDB on the shoulder, which doesn't exist on the genuine coins. You can see that split in the lower serif there, and this one's for Malcolm. So that's your first problem. Your second problem is that the date is going to look wrong because there's going to be too much space between the 9 and the 1 of the date, because that 1 isn't a 1, it's actually a 4. The other problem that you're going to run into is that the design actually looks different. If you look at the head and all of the features of a 1944 and you compare it to a 1914, they are different. And the rim on the reverse of a 1944 is going to be much thinner than the reverse should be on a 1914. Another nice 1960D RPM here. And this one is for Hidden Numismatist. And moving on to coin number 26. This one's for Eric. Hello, Paul. And Eric gets nice split serif 1961 DRPM. This one's got beautiful color too. So now there's been 2 coins pop out for Eric that both have nice color. Steady as she goes. Next up, Carl. Looking for Carl, and Carl gets, well, it is yet another one of the nicer 1960 DRPMs. In fact, I believe this is the same die we have passed by already once in this roll. Which can happen because, well, this particular collector pulled rolls and rolls of coins and went through many rolls, pulling out the RPMs. And, of course, if those two RPMs happen to have come from the same roll or the same group of rolls, then the fact that they're the same die is of no surprise. Here's another 1960 D, a split lower serif. This one could be another number 110. 1960 D RPM 110. You found a 53D number 1? Very nice. Those are listed in the Cherry Picker's Guide. If you have them graded by PCGS and you pay the extra and note the variety, they will put it on the holder. And there's another nice RPM, 1959D with a very wide split lower serif. This one's going to Mr. McBride. Good old Joe. Changed from Joe to Mac back to Joe, so he is Joe McBride again. Here's a nice die crack on the head. That will play a very big role in figuring out which die this is. Very nice permanent marker. Yeah, 1918 is when that was placed back onto the shoulder. It's the first year that it was on the shoulder, actually. 1909, they had it on the reverse between the wheat stems. They took it off in 1909. They didn't put it back until 1918. And then VDB passed away in 1924, so he didn't get to see it for very many years before he was gone. Yeah, YouTube is very problematic these days, and I'm not sure exactly what is causing the problems, but yes, it's very problematic. There's not much of anything I can do about it. All right, here's for Jeff Dunn. Got a beautiful toner. I noticed this as soon as it popped up. Wonderful toner. Let's see what it is. It's an RPM number 65. Beautiful RPM number 65 right here. Is anybody not having glitch issues? Is anybody not having issues with my broadcast on YouTube right now? Here's coin number 32. Coin number 32 goes to James Worley. Mr. Worley, and coin number 32. There's another nice 1960 DRPM right there. This is a number 157, I believe. It's RPM number 157. I think maybe a couple of these other ones that I've hit already in this roll were number 157s. Oops. I'll bring this back into sharp focus here. There we go. Malcolm is next, coin number 33. And coin number 33, well, it's a little bit spotty, but it is a nice RPM. Another nice 1960 DRPM. It's been choppy, but no apparent lag. I am seeing once in a while where my what do you want to call it? My video stream on YouTube gives me a message saying that it's not receiving enough video to continue. And then it comes back on, and then it goes back out, and it comes back on. Perhaps there may be something wrong, evidently with a setting, maybe. Here's another nice one. 1960 with a really nice lower split serif and a die chip in the 9. This one should be easy to identify. I can't remember the die number on this. I know I've seen it before, though. switched over to the desktop and everything's fine. It's just strange. I don't understand sometimes. Hey, looky there, Thomas. You speak up and your name pops up. How lucky could that be? Well, this one is a 1961D. It's a pretty large split on the lower serif, and it is a very toned coin. It's a lot of character, a lot of colors, character on this. Let's see what it looks like underneath here. I don't know. So you can see it's got a lot of color. Alright, and that one's for Thomas. Mr. Murphy. Here we go. Coin number 36. The next reveal that I'll be doing will be a catch-up for a 1966 roll I had last month, and the roll turned out to be kind of garbage. So I've got a roll that I'm using as a makeup roll for that particular reveal. This is not hub doubling right there. That is not a double die. But it is an RPM. That's for Techstar. Yeah, so hopefully this 1966 roll turns out to be nice and clean. Joe McBride for you. Mr. McBride gets a split upper and lower serif. 1959D RPM with some color on it. This one's got some pretty color. Let's see what it looks like under the dyno. Not much of anything. I can see it. I'm looking at it under the light there. There we go. It doesn't look like much of anything under the dyno because the dyno doesn't like to pick up those colors. Let's see what this is telling me. Stream bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. Stream bitrate of 4500. Let's see what my stream bitrate is. 4500. Can't do anything about that. It's looking like everything's set right. It's just weird. How come it is? Sometimes we get perfect and sometimes we get horrible streams. Could be the time of day. Could be a number of things. Hello, Case. There's one for Mr. Worley. This is going to be coin number 38 now. Coin number 38 for Mr. Worley. Well, we know that this one is listed. I can't remember which one it is, but I know it's listed. It's a nice upper and lower split on a 1960D small date with a nice die chip inside the 6. I know we'll find this one without a problem. And here's number 39 for Mr. Adams. Coin number 39. That turns out to be a nice 1960D. Tripled RPM. You've got the D over D to the east, and then you've got a split lower serif. It looks like a triple split lower serif, so it could be a quadrupled RPM. And it's got nice color over on the left side. So there we go. Now coin number 40. Number 40 goes to Stephen. And Stephen picks up a beautiful 1960D RPM. This one appears to be number 64. I think it's RPM number 64. It's a 59 or a 64. Oh, you can't see the coins? Well, what happened? Let's see. There we go. How about that? There. Appears to be an RPM number 64. I'm sorry about that. There we go. Okay. Number 41. Number 41 now for Jeff Dunn. And Jeff Dunn. Oh, that's beautiful. That's sweet. Which one is it? Is that 12, I think? 1960D RPM number 12? I think it's either number 10 or number 12. I think it's number 12. Very nice. Very nice, very beautiful. I think that's RPM number 12 for Jeff Dunn. Coin number 42. This one's for Carl. And for Carl, we have there's a nice 1960D split serifs, upper and lower. The reason I'm looking all over the coin is not for doubling, but for markers that I believe could help me immediately identify, because I've got some of the markers memorized for some of these. Sometimes I'll get it, sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll get it right, sometimes I won't. This one appears to be, I think it's one of the numbers in the 70s. Maybe later than that. Up to coin number 44 now. Coin number 44 for Jesse. And Mr. Minter will get, oh, it's a nice split lower serif RPM, 1960D. Now number 45. Thomas Murphy again gets his last coin in the roll. And it turns out to be it's one of the nice ones. I can't remember which one this is though. I know it's listed. Moves on now to number 46. Number 46, Timothy Morrell. And Mr. Morrell picks up. And it's a relatively minor split lower serif. Minor split lower serif. It's got some nice colors. Number 47 now. Number 47. Got 4 coins left in the roll. This is one of those 4. Mr. Adams. Oh, that's a nice one. Nice 1960D. Tilted RPM. Not sure that I can remember which one that is, though. Now number 48 for Frank. Number 48 for Frank. Nice little split in the lower serif on a 1960D. Should be easy to identify once we can get the markers out for it, but I do not know what die this is right now. And number 49, Joe McBride. Joe picks up 1961D. Nice fat serifs on this. Nice low RPM. Now number 50 for Frank. Last coin in the roll turns out to be, well, it's got looks like a vertical running through the mint mark, especially in the upper half. I'm not certain what die this one is. that does it. That's what we have for this particular roll. I will get myself prepared, and I will be back with a 1966 roll in about 15 minutes. So I'll start it up in about 15 minutes. For those of you who'll be back, I'll see you then. If you're not going to come back, I hope you have a great day. Talk to you guys later.